Hello. In this clip from our Justia webinar, Law Firm Video 101, Establishing Trust with an Effective Video Strategy, Robert Weiss answers the audience's questions and gives his key takeaways for videos for attorneys. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Awesome. Thank you, Robert. All right, as Robert said, we will now move on to audience questions. So as a reminder, if you have any questions, feel free to submit them through that Q&A button at the control panel at the bottom of your screen. If you click into it, you'll see where you can submit questions. We'll give you guys a few moments to submit them. Okay, awesome. Looks like we already have one coming through. Awesome. The first one is, how can we ensure that the videos we create or feature adhere to relevant advertising standards or ethical guidelines by our jurisdiction?
I'm not sure that I am the right one to answer that because that seems like it's a legal issue. However, there are parameters. We deal with this a lot when we work with banks and insurance people. There are parameters of things that you can say and what you can't say and do and can't do. That's what I would stay within. Okay. Going back to one of the things that I said in the very early stages, like forget it's video, right? It is a communication that happens to be video. So if you start with that mindset, stay within the parameters of what you always stay within. Oh, by the way, it just happens to be video. And every jurisdiction probably has some different rules. I think you'd have to check with a lawyer there. So I'm sure there's a couple on the call tonight.
Sure. Our next question is, what would you say is the optimum length or duration for a website video, and does it vary?
It does vary. So, tell you what I'll do right now. I'm going to jump back into a presentation, right? Now I'm going to unhide this slide, which I did not play, because it answers that question. So, by the way, I do thought leadership content. I need to do SEO for my business. I do the same thing that I ask you guys to do. Write down the questions that people ask all the time. How much does a video cost? How to leverage a budget? I have videos for all of that all over my website. And this particular question, okay, here's the answer. So there's a myth out there that every video should be short. And the golden rule is never make a video longer than it has to be, but context and relevancy to the viewer of your video will determine how long they watch. If something has the context and the relevancy, don't worry about time. That doesn't mean that you need, again, to make a video longer than it has to be. If you're talking about one subject, don't talk about 17 subjects. Talk about one. And this came up through working with Lowenstein Sandler. We did 3 videos for their cybersecurity group for LinkedIn. These videos were 17 minutes, 12 minutes, and 11 minutes for LinkedIn. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a disaster, right? Because it's LinkedIn, right? However, the watch, because they were contextually relevant, and PS, they paid to have these videos shown to IT people because it was about this JSON hack that happened at the time. So it was contextually relevant to the people that they targeted. 2,500 hours of watch time in 3 weeks. Off the charts. Some people actually completed watching those videos on LinkedIn because we got the metrics back. It was shocking. And that's what made me come up with this graphic, right? And to answer that question, of how long should a video be, because I was astonished. When it's contextually relevant to people, when people care, they'll watch. Everybody's watched a movie. That's a 2.5, 3-hour video, basically. Hopefully that answers your question.
Robert, a kind of related question. Someone asked, do you recommend vertical or horizontal videos, since 70% of clients look at their website on their phone? And do you think certain platforms prioritize vertical, horizontal video?
I'll start with the second part of the question first. Yes, TikTok, Instagram, probably some of the other channels that I'm not on that my kids are on do. But even if you pull up a video on your phone, if you pull up a website on your phone and click the video, I would say most, because I don't know all of them, video platforms will allow you to go full screen and view it horizontally. So for your website, always go horizontal. If you're going to go after social, if that's a channel that you as a lawyer want to go after, that means you need to create content for that. I would shoot both in horizontal and vertical, or do a production so you could do horizontal but have the vertical video. So you're thinking about that in advance. You just don't have hopium to be like, I hope I'm going to get that. And that's the other thing I'll just talk about, the hopium aspect of video. People always think that they can carve out snippets. Yeah, I mean, that can happen, but when you plan for that, then it's more effective, it's more targeted, it's more aligned with your business objectives, because it's the content that your potential audience wants to consume versus hoping that happens.
Our next question is, how do you estimate production time for a project, including post-production?
For us, most projects from start to finish are going to take about a month. That means, like, we've had some conversations about messaging already and scope. So we know, like, how many days, like, we've already kind of done the statement of work for them to sign. So we know messaging, we've already kind of started pre-production. And then once we get that signature, we can have the pre-production meetings, schedule everything, and then edit. For us, when we give our first round of previews to our clients, we're like 80% done, because we've already spent time on the messaging of what we want. This is probably a slide I should have for the next webinar, but when I start working with clients, I don't care about what I see. I care about what I hear. And then I'm going to allocate and shoot visuals or use assets that they might give me, charts and stuff, for that particular message. But what you say is going to drive what you see. So we do our work up front to decide what people should be saying. We shoot what they should be saying. We capture any B-roll that aligns with what they said. We put the puzzle pieces together. We're already there. And that helps post-production time. So, again, most of the time it's about a month from start to finish. We've done quicker. We have a 4-day manufacturing video deliverable that we did in 4 days that we're very happy about. We got a blog post case study on it that if you saw that video, like, you did that in 4 days? We're like, yeah. So
that's awesome. Okay, a kind of similar question. I know you already touched on duration a little bit, but this person is talking about specifically with legal content. Do you think it'd be better to create shorter videos, like 1 minute or less, or longer videos that maybe have timestamps or chapters that a user can click on?
This goes into what your strategy is. Okay, if it's SEO, Well, would you ever do one long blog post that's 7,000 words? Or would you do 7 blog posts that are 1,000 words each? Okay. What is your business strategy? Always start with that. If you're up on stage, that's more social cred. That could be 7 minutes long because you have somebody of authority interviewing you or talking to you or something like that, or maybe you're the moderator. So that's what I would let guide your decision. The other thing is, again, what kind of video it is. And then the last thing is never make a video longer than it has to be.
Great tip. Thanks, Robert. And I think the last question that we have time for today is, what are your recommendations for the frequency of posting video content? So you talked about how long it can take to make them, but how often do you suggest posting?
That's going to be different for every firm. So I would say if you haven't done it already, batch produce and try to do it once a month. Then get into twice a month. Get into 3 times a month. And that, again, that doesn't mean that you'll always be using a company like mine. To get started, you should. But if you're going to do it 3 or 4 times a month, you're going to batch produce. You're going to have 5, 6, 10 videos like in the queue, in the hopper. And then you're going to launch them twice a month. But in the middle, you might be doing your own video or 2, right? That is not as polished, but still presents you as a professional in between that professional grade content.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Robert, for all of your insight, and thank you all for all of your questions. We're almost out of time for today, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos on law practice and legal marketing. See you in our next clip.